Alright guys, so I got a tag video for you. Tyler over at Simply Fragrances, who I have now dubbed the Tag King. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he is always putting out some awesome, actually, tag videos, and he is always really thinking very deeply about his tags. And this one right here, this tag video that I'm going to be doing today, me in a bottle, fragrances that represent who I am, fragrances that represent my personality. I love fragrances, and I've had such a deep passion for fragrances for such a long time. And I want to let you guys in on a little bit of me, a little bit more about me, and why I do what I do, and how I do it. So join me, and let's go over these fragrances that represent my personality. Stay tuned. Cue that intro. What's going on, my beautiful fragrance family? I hope each and every one of you are doing frickin' phenomenal today, and welcome back to My2Scents. My name is Brian, and this channel is all about helping boost your confidence through the art of fragrance and helping you become a lasting scent memory. Man, this tag video was not easy, but today we're gonna go a little bit in a different direction, and I'm gonna try to do this as unedited as possible. I kind of want to just talk to you guys and give you a little insight about my history, my life, and why I'm so, I guess you could say, addicted to fragrances. Why I have such a deep passion for fragrances. But it's not just about fragrances, it's about people. And why I have such a deep passion and love for people I don't even know. There's not going to be any whiffing and sniffing, and I'm not really going to be breaking down any fragrances today. What I'm going to be doing is letting you know fragrances that represent me, my personality. So without further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a time warp. We're going to go back in time. So it is now 1994. 1994. I was a 10-year-old young lad. And in 1994, I remember sitting inside of a doctor's office, waiting to get my shots. I'm waiting to get my vaccinations so that I can go back to school. Now, I'm an August baby, so I'm a Leo, August 8th baby. Let me know if there's any other Leos that are watching this. That's right. The strength and pride of a Leo. But I was sitting there waiting on the doctor, and I was thumbing through some magazines like I always did, and I always loved pulling out the little fragrance strips in the magazines and rubbing them on me and smelling them and being like, oh, this smells so good. I just love smells. And I stumbled across one of those fragrance strips. And I don't know if the fragrance was about to be released or if it had already been released, but I pulled it, rubbed it on me, and I was like, oh, wow, I love this. And that fragrance is Issey Miyake, Low DC Pour Homme. Now, if you've been following this channel for some time now, you know that this is my 11th bottle. I will always have this in my collection because of that day right there. After I, rubbed that fragrance on, shortly after, the nurse came and said, hey, let's go ahead and get you back there. It's time to get your shots. First of all, I freaking hate shots. I hate needles. And anything I could do to take my mind away from that was better off for me and for the nurse and for anybody who's in the room, because I just pass out. I just can't stop watching, especially when I was younger, watching them put the needle in me. It's just never good. I immediately pass out. Hate needles, have no tattoos, and never had a piercing. But on my way to go see the doctor and go to the room that I was supposed to be in, the nurse looked at me. She goes, hey, you smell really good, young man. And that is because I was wearing Low DC Pour Homme. So I had a mission. I had a mission at 10 years old that I was going to get my first bottle. And I was going to buy it myself because my dad started letting me mow the yards after my 10th birthday, and he would give me an allowance. And the more I mowed, the more I would get. So it took me about 4 or 5, maybe 6 months to go ahead and save up enough money to get this, but I remember the day that I did. I was so ecstatic. My mom drove me to the mall out in Silver Spring, Maryland. I can't remember which mall. It might have been the Laurel Mall. Can't remember, but we went to the mall and I picked up my very first bottle. And I freaking loved it. I wore it every single day. And at that point in my life, I didn't really care about the compliments. But the one thing that that compliment from that nurse did, it instilled in me a sense of confidence. Being a 10-year-old, walking into a room where you're about to get pricked by a frickin' long-ass needle, it's uncomfortable. But she made it more comfortable. And so did Issey Miyake. And so this is a fragrance that truly represents me because this is where it pretty much all began. This is where it started. This led to all of this, which moves me on to my next fragrance. We're gonna jump quite a few years into the future. You know, there's a lot of fragrances in between that, all right? In 2020, I think it was in February, this was released. And this is Red Book Parfums, and this is the Underground Edition. The collaboration between Steven from Red Essence and Carlos, the Brooklyn fragrance lover. But who I want to talk about today is Carlos. Now, I loved watching Carlos. He was one of my favorite fragrance reviewers, and still to this day, probably will always be one of my favorite fragrance reviewers. Carlos had such a passion. He had such a beautiful way of talking about fragrances, and that's one thing I loved about him, because that's how I talk about fragrances. You could see his facial expressions and when he really loved a fragrance and when he really didn't like a fragrance. But he wasn't one for just bashing people. He did it in a very constructive way. He did it with a lot of constructive feedback. And the reason I bring this fragrance up, it's not because I wear it all the time, because I don't. I wear this because of the dream that is in this bottle. The dream that was fulfilled in this bottle. And for a man who I never met, a man who I never spoke to, but every single day that I watched his videos, and now that I've gone back and watched them again, I feel the exact same way. I felt like I knew him. I felt like I was part of his family. I felt like we were friends, but we never knew each other. And when he passed away, it was a rough day for me. And people I know, you're probably like, why did you care? You didn't even know the guy. But I did, because he showed himself through his videos, through his reviews. And I love that about him. And the day that he passed, I remember walking into work, after hearing about it. And, one of my colleagues was like, man, you okay? And I was like, dude, you ever feel like just kind of down in the dumps, kind of feel hurt when somebody passes away and you have never even met that person, you don't know him? He goes, that's called love, Brian. That's called compassion. It's called being a human. I thought about starting a YouTube channel many moons ago. And I did. I started a channel before this, and it's called Mentality, which I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to revamp and bring that, that channel back. But instead, I decided that I was trying to fit too much into Mentality, and there's one thing I knew a lot about. And one night, I actually had a dream, and this is going to sound weird, but it was about Carlos. It was actually his freaking theme song got stuck in my dream. Brooklyn fragrance lover. We all know this song. It was iconic, and it still is probably the best opening theme song for any fragrance reviewer. And when I woke up that next day, I did a video for Mentality, and I said something along those lines of, I want to put my 2 cents in on it. And just like that, I realized what I needed to do. I wanted to bring back the reviewing style of Carlos, the Brooklyn fragrance lover. I wanted to show that passion, but I also wanted to instill and help people build their confidence through the art of fragrance. I heard so many people talking about guarantees of this fragrance will get you compliments and this fragrance will get you compliments, but I wanted to do something different. I wanted to create a sense of family. I wanted to create friendship. I wanted to show my love and compassion, not just for fragrances, but for people who are living out their dreams. And it is unfortunate that Carlos never got to see this fragrance or smell this fragrance, coming out of this beautiful bottle. But we all get to live his dream. And that's the reason I picked this up. Whether or not people think it's a great fragrance, that's fine. I understand. For me, it's nostalgic. For me, it's like looking at a picture. But this picture, I can take the cap off, smell it, and I'll always remember Carlos. So that's the reason. Carlos is actually the reason that I started this part of my fragrance journey. And now we're 13 months into it. All right? And now 13 months into it, oh man, it's been amazing. It's been some of, the best months of my life. I have grown a channel, and it wasn't just me. It was because of you guys. You're the channel, all right? You are the legs of this channel, and I'm just the face. I'm the voice. And I truly want you guys to know that the way that I run my channel is I run it with honesty. I run it with compassion, and I run it because I care. Not just about fragrances, obviously, but because I care about you. Which brings me to my next few fragrances, okay? I've met a ton of fantastic perfumers and owners and just all around great people in the last 13 months. So the first brand and house I want to talk about is Zaharoff. Now, I'm just picked out Royal X because it's the closest one to me, but Royal X and Zaharoff, I believe in them. I believe in George Zaharoff, and he believes in me. I remember the first time he reached out to me, and he had an in-depth conversation. We were in like a 2-3 hour conversation. He wasn't talking to me about, hey, promote my brand. He was talking to me about life. And he was talking to me about how amazing he thought I was. He was talking to me and building me up, because that's what we're supposed to do as human beings. And he is such a positive influence in the fragrance community and the fragrance family. Do I love all of his fragrances? I do. Do I love some more than others? Absolutely. But I also understand that not every fragrance that a fragrance house puts out, I'm going to enjoy. But the difference between me and a lot of other reviewers out there is, first of all, I'm honest, but I do it with compassion. I do it with constructive feedback. I don't call it constructive criticism anymore, because I'm not here to criticize. I'm here to give constructive feedback. George trusts me and trusts that I'm going to give an honest review, an honest opinion, but he knows I'm going to do it with tact, that I'm never going to hurt the brand, the house, because it's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to be honest with you guys, because the truth does set you free. And I know that George believes that. After having such many beautiful conversations with him, I understand why I support the world of Zaharoff. Because the world of Zaharoff supports me and believes in me and believes that I'm gonna give an honest review. So first house I got to mention is Zaharoff. Of course, I gotta throw these guys in here. Argos. I love Argos. They have believed in this channel since the beginning. They started promoting my channel without even asking, without even me having to ask, because they believed in me. And I believe in them. After getting my nose on their discovery set, which was last year, when, during this channel, at the very beginning of this channel, I did a video on it. Y'all didn't watch it, but that's okay. I was small. I was new to the game. But when I laid my nose on them, I was like, wow, these are really well put together fragrances. They are expensive, but they are really well put together. The bottles alone are freaking gorgeous. They're sexy. But it's not just about the fragrances. It's about the people behind the fragrances. And those people trust me. They believe in me. Do they believe I'm going to like every single one of their fragrances? I hope not. But again, I do every single review with honesty and with tact, with compassion. They trust me to give them an honest review, because honesty will set you free. They are a growing brand. They were small once, and now they're getting even bigger. And I'm very, very grateful to be a part of their fragrance family. And I'm very grateful to have them a part of this fragrance family. The reason I support this brand is because they believe in me, and I do believe in them. Do I believe that every single fragrance they put out is going to be for me? No. But it might be for you. And the last one on my list, of course you're going to know who it is. It's Terence Hughes. Any of his fragrances could be on this list. I picked Anubis for some reason. Actually, it's because it was the closest one to me. Terence Hughes. I started watching Aaron's channel when he first started. I didn't really get it. And then I kept watching and watching and watching. I'm like, man, this guy is a plethora of knowledge. I love watching this because he's very honest. He reminds me of myself. Though he was a little negative when he first started, he did something. He grew. He listened. He started doing it with compassion. He started really putting his passion into his fragrances. And I am so blessed to have picked up his fragrances, because not only does Aaron make awesome fragrances, regardless of what people say out there, all right? Break it down and understand that he is trying his damnedest to create fragrances for everyone with niche quality, with performance, with uniqueness, but not going so unique they aren't wearable. What he's doing is he listens to you guys. I found a friend, and hopefully a lifelong friend, out of Aaron Terence Hughes, and all these brands, these companies, the people behind the brands and the companies. But Aaron and I, we talk almost every single day. I've never met the man in person, but he's compassionate. And I'm going to tell you something, all right? I'm going to open up even further here. There's one reason I do love Aaron so much. And I can honestly say that. And you guys can sit there and be like, oh, well, now Brian's not going to give his honest review or his, honest opinion about his fragrances. That'll never change. Honesty, again, is what sets you free. Being honest with yourself and being honest with those around you. Aaron, came out and says he has Asperger's. Well, I have lived my 37 years of life with a mother that has Asperger's. But back in 1984, Asperger's really wasn't a thing. And when my mom was growing up, they just thought she was different. But come to find out, around 1990s, she got diagnosed with Asperger's. She is a brilliant mind. Brilliant. Not very good being social. She's quite socially awkward, but she's brilliant. She can do puzzles better than anybody I know. She can crochet better than anybody I know. And so she is very artsy fartsy. And she utilizes that side of her brain that a lot of us don't utilize to put into some beautiful art. When Aaron told me that he has Asperger's, it changed everything. It helped me understand him more. Because for 37 years of my life, I've been living with somebody who's supposed to be my parent, who honestly, when you boil it down, some might not see fit as a parent. But the one thing that men, women, people who have this issue with Asperger's, they love immensely. And they put their passion and heart into whatever they're doing. Just like Aaron puts a lot of time and passion and effort into his fragrances. Just like I now put my time and effort into taking care of my mom. Aaron gets a bad rap. He truly does. And the reason I want to say, and the one reason I'm putting this in here, and I'm going to say this, we need to learn how to bite our tongues and not get behind the comments and think we can say whatever we need to say. I don't believe in verbal abuse whatsoever, and neither should you. We are all in this world together, no matter how you cut it, all right? We aren't going to have the same opinions, and we're not always going to get along. That's the reason I call this a fragrance family. Communities divide themselves. Families will, but at the end of the day, we still come back together and we find love and we can find a common ground. Communities always split up. Communities go into different cliques, and it's fine. I don't care how you look at this community or fragrance family, but that's the reason I choose to call it a family. Because at the end of the day, we are all in this together. Love is a circular motion. I don't love to get anything out of you. I love to give to you. And if you have people that all believe that, we can all work in this world in a little bit more harmony. It's kind of like this hat. When I bought this hat, this fedora, a lot of my friends kind of teased me. You know, they're good old boys. Like my best friend Jeremy, I mean, he's red as hell. He is a redneck through and through. You know, if he's not wearing Chaco's, swimming trunks and some sort of Tennessee Vols hat with some ratty shirt, it wouldn't be Jeremy. But, he can dress up, and he does like dressing up. And he's told me, he's like, Brian, I wish I could rock a fedora like that. I was like, well, you know what, Jeremy? You can. Because you just wear it with confidence. You have confidence in it, and trust me, you get more comfortable with it. Saying the word can't is not really a word I like to have in my vocabulary. I've gotten a lot of compliments from rocking this fedora. I've got some backhanded compliments from rocking this fedora. But anything you wear, and in the way you live your life, it opens your life up for compliments. Fragrances will help do so as well. They'll help you get compliments. But what I wanted and why I started this channel is to instill confidence. Confidence, first of all, for all you men and women out there, it's sexy. Confidence is sexy. Now, I'm not talking about being a cocky asshole. I'm talking about being confident in yourself. Confident in knowing when to say yes and no. Confidence in yourself to know when to take negativity and find the positive within the negativity. Just like Carlos passing. It's a negative situation. But the positive that I found in it, it boosted and helped me have the cojones, reach into my pants, grab my balls and say, I'm going to do this because I'm passionate for fragrances and I'm passionate for people. At the end of the day, when it boils down to it, guys, we're just talking about fragrances. And I don't want to be a fragrance reviewer that just falls into a certain niche. That's, I'm the niche guy. I'm the, indie guy. I'm the clone guy, the designer guy. No, I want to be a fragrance reviewer for everyone because I love fragrances. This actual tag video is not easy to put together because all these fragrances, this is why I do it. All these fragrances are my personality. Every single one of them. Because I thoroughly love smelly stuff. Whether it's bad smelling stuff to good smelling stuff. I've got to sniff it all. Because I understand that all of these can create amazing memories. I don't have all of these so I can get compliments. I have all of these so it can help boost my confidence. And also, I might be a little bit of a fragrance addict. Just saying, okay? Yeah. I like collecting stuff, and I like collecting shiny stuff, all right? But I also really have a huge passion, not just for the fragrances, but for you guys. So that's why I started my channel, and that's me. These fragrances represent who I am. Every single one of them. And there's going to be hundreds to thousands more that are going to do just that. What I'm here to do is help inspire you to find the right fragrance that's going to help kickstart your confidence, boost your confidence, or it might just make you feel better at the end of the day. But that's it, guys. That is how I started my journey and why I am where I'm at today. So I thank you all for listening, but also let me know what fragrances represent who you are, represent your personality. Let me know. Drop me a comment down below. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you gained anything out of it, please leave me a comment down below because I look forward to getting to know you. But that's it. Hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. If you enjoyed today's show, then do me a favor and like, comment, share, and subscribe. And always remember you are stinking beautiful. And until next time, happy scent trails.